Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a DBD discussion video with some gameplay to boot. Tunneling has been a discussion in this community for time immemorial, and people just fail to recognize that there's just nothing you can do about it because it is a player decision. As long as a player has autonomy, even if it's the worst play, as we can see many times over, they will do it because in their heads it's either easier or funnier. Who knows? But why am I making this one? Why am I talking about why there is more tunneling lately? Well, that's because this is going to be a response. Yeah, we'll call it a response to the arguments made by Darva, Otz, and Scott Jund. I'm going to let you know right now, I like both of them. And I'll also tell you my biases right now. I like both of them, but I do find that I don't necessarily agree with a lot of Scott's arguments. So if you want to completely discredit the rest of this video based off of that, sure. But I implore you to stick around to understand what I'm talking about and know that I'm not just, bitter, I guess, as a bad guy main because we're trying to say TOS. I would do the React Andy thing of just putting both of their videos up and going, "Oh no, see objection." But that would take a lot of time, and I don't want this to be an hour-long video. But I'm going to try to do my best to paraphrase what I took from the videos. I'm going to link their videos in the description so you can, get from them what they said verbatim instead of just taking my word for it. But to summarize, before you get into those videos, if you don't feel like looking at them, I said that tunneling is more necessary because people have just so many tools. You aren't really incentivized like you were for things like barbecue to go out of your way to not tunnel people. And Scott said that it's because DS got nerfed. I'll talk about the Scott one first because that one is the one that I have the most issue with. It it isn't false that DS changing changed things, but it's not because DS is such a bad perk now. He said in his video that trying to say that DS is still good as Copium. Well, guess what? I have the entire tank of it. It's still good. It's still okay. And before, if he sees this, I'll just say I don't see how you can argue corrupt is still good and say that DS isn't. Um, but that's an aside. DS is still okay. And the reason why is because realistically, DS wasn't the thing alone that was so unstoppable in our everyday games before all the perks got reworked. Everyone seems to forget that DS was the catalyst? Yeah, let's go with catalyst. To a chain of events that just left you in a tough spot. DS, Unbreakable, Borrowed Time, Dead Hard. You unhook somebody, they go in your face for a little bit with BT to get everybody out. You hit them to get rid of BT. Okay. They are still in your face because they know they have DS. Okay. You hit them, put them down. You can't pick them up because they have DS, and you can't leave them on the ground because they have Unbreakable. Now, what happened to DS is what happened to Dead Hard. It got changed. People went, oh no, this is garbage now, and nobody's trying anymore. If you want proof of it still being okay, yes, I'm going to reference another content creator. Look at Aaron. You go, but he's correct. Yeah, that's the point. If you get better with something, which nobody in this game wants to do, you can make a lot of things work. For example, I'm a trickster main. I'm not going to say I'm the most cracked there is, but oh, let me tell you, it's a labor of love. So, DS at base, you no longer have it at end game for that free escape, and that's also a discussion where it's just like, why should somebody get a free KO because the DS doesn't work? Well, that's why people are running adrenaline anyway. So cry more. Um, for the fact that DS is still okay because it resets your timer on mend, and you just get to take the chase again. If people want to commit so hard to tunneling you, they will, but you can definitely make it a lot harder for them to gain any value from it. And you notice more people aren't running Unbreakable anymore, even though Unbreakable didn't change. Unbreakable's still okay. So why aren't people running Unbreakable? People aren't running DS. I don't want to run Unbreakable. What if I don't get value out of it each game? What if they don't slug me? So it's an odd thing that people don't want to run Unbreakable just in case, even though we just had an entire PTB a while ago that still is a horrid idea of giving everybody base kit Unbreakable. Because everybody hates that, right? But I'll talk more about that in a bit. So, to wrap up the idea on why the argument of DS being the reason that there's more tunneling, that's, to put it politely, hogwash. You still have the tools. People just aren't using it. Go ahead, run the build with Dead Hard, DS, Unbreakable, and off the record now. Go ahead. You'll probably do perfectly fine, just like you did in the old meta. Nothing really changed. It's just that more people would rather run other things now. And it's not necessarily because DS is so bad, it's because other things are just, will help you get out of the game quicker. I'm not going to spoil what perks I was going up against in this game, but it's clear that they didn't really want to be here, right? And the reason why I have this game out of, instead of being a React Andy 2 is because I ended up tunneling in this game too, something I normally don't do. And I don't want it to seem like I tunneled the way that people are making it seem everyone is getting tunneled. I didn't necessarily go out of my way to make sure one person was out of this game. But, you know, things happen. So I'm just going to let that speak for itself. It's not like I was making it my end goal to get one person out. But that's my thoughts on the DS argument. But then we go to the is tunneling necessary argument. If anything I just said should tell you my thoughts on that, no. I will also say Ach did clarify what he meant by that in the second video that, I have linked. But quite frankly, I've played like most of my games without the ounce of tunneling. There are times where I've tunneled by complete accident, like not realizing it's been the same person 3 times in a row. But you'll be very hard pressed to find me. Oh, I need to get this person out of the game now if I want a chance. So you will be very hard pressed to find that out of my videos. But good luck. Prove me wrong. Um, and thanks for the clicks if you do. So to say that it's more necessary is not right, but it's not wrong. And that leads to what my reason for why there's more tunneling. There's more tunneling because that's the only thing viable for every bad guy in the roster. I'll say it again. It's the only thing viable for every bad guy in the roster. Because I'm trying to stay TOS too. If I'll paint this picture, sparked kind of from the tier list I did. Oni, Twins, Plague, Blight, Nurse, and Michael. They're all good at slugging, right? But you don't see any more slugging because not everybody can afford to do that. To get value from slugging, that means that you have to have a power that can either put somebody down and get somebody else down in that time, or you have the mobility to get around, and make use of it. As Trickster is a 110 that has to reload probably after every down. You're not Huntress. You're probably reloading after every down. It's a much different ball game. You put somebody on the ground, and unless somebody is like in your face, you don't really gain anything from leaving somebody on the ground when people can get them up in 8 seconds and fully healed in like 12 altogether, right? It doesn't do anything for you. Instead, you're better off doing the things that people are mad about right now, tunneling and camping. You're better off getting that person on the hook, and opposed to a 4-minute bleed out timer, there's a 1-minute hook stage timer. Time is ticking before they go to the next stage, and if they still aren't out, guess what? They're out of the game, right? 2 minutes go by a person on the hook. That's, if one person was working on a gen, that's, one gen and, some. Because the counter is to do gens while somebody's camping, right? But we all see that everybody freaks out and doesn't do that, so that's why everybody just keeps suffering from it. But let's go to the 4-minute bleed out timer, leaving somebody on the ground without having a power that can snowball, per se. Yeah, that person was on the ground. You don't have a hook. And by the time that you finally do have somebody else hooked, the gen is popped, and the person that was on the ground has been healed to full, and they're also on a gen. Now, of course, that's all hypothetical, but 4-minute bleed out timer, and let's just, keep it real. 90, 180, that's 2 gens. All right. Don't really see how you can deny that slugging is just not viable now. And then you have more ways of getting somebody up. You see the circle of healing. You do still have to kind of worry if it was unbreakable and exponential, right? Like, you do still have that in the back of your head, or if it was just circle of healing, why even bother putting that person down? If you didn't kick that, which is another annoyance, right? Trying to kick a boon, they're up from the heal itself, taking no time anyway. They're just up, you wasted your time, and you have nothing to show for it. But everybody can tunnel. And there's only one person in the entire roster that does it better than the rest, which is Pyramid Head. And to say do it better, yeah, people will tell you, yeah, he's the king of tunneling. But let's be real, if you are crossing the map, because that's how the cage works, to just focus on one person, yeah, he's better at tunneling because there's no off the record to protect the person. But at the same time, you have no mobility and they've wasted a lot of time. So, was it worth? Who knows, right? And, apparently Nemesis mains have a bad rep for tunneling. I can't really tell you why on that one. It always takes a bunch of health states. Maybe they're just fed up and happy that one person is finally infected. I don't know. But, yeah. Then you go to camping. Yeah, but Monster, everybody can camp. Yeah, that's true. Everybody can camp. But it isn't really great for everybody, I should say. If you're an M1 bad guy and you don't have Stabifilon, man, you do that little weird tango of the two teammates come and get it right. Did you get the grab? Did you not? You up, man? That person's getting off the hook. Now, as a Trickster main or a Bubble player, yeah, that's probably going to be easier. And Huntress too, and especially if they're in the basement with Hag, right? Things like that, or Trapper. Yeah, that's going to be annoying, definitely. But again, where are all of those characters on the tier list? They're kind of splattered throughout. But again, I just say that you'll find that the best ones can do that thing called slugging. Oh, I don't want to run Unbreakable because I might not get value. Well, the reason you might not get value is because nobody nobody gains anything from it. It's pretty meh every day, so you use the one tool that you can to apply pressure that everybody can do. Every bad guy can make the conscious decision to try to make sure that one person has a bad time in that match. And again, I don't say you should do that because you're not getting any better at the game if that's your only method of winning the game. But at the end of the day, it isn't any better or worse for most characters. I mean, I guess if you use the Mend add-on with Pinhead or Cenobites rather to make it so that you can inflict deep wound and then go after that person, sure, you're better at tunneling. But what what does that get? What does that really get? It's still a lot to do that process. But yeah, that's my thoughts on why there's more tunneling. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree, tell me your thoughts. But yeah, if you like the video, like it. Got a comment for me, comment. And until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.